Karnataka government raises reservation limit for SC-STs. Reservation limit in the state crossed 56%. The Nagmohan Das committee had recommended. Research published on aerosol concentration claims of difference in its concentrations in two different models, potential to influence policy making. Government launched Heal in India program. The aim is to promote medical tourism. India is one of the leading countries for cheap treatment. Sixth CRM report of the Ministry of Rural Development released. Manrega wages in many states are well below the market rate. The report recommended the creation of revolving fund. Recently, an ordinance was approved in Karnataka and it has now become effective from 1st November 2022. The ordinance provides to increase the reservation limit for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Consequently, the existing 15% reservation for scheduled castes in Karnataka has increased to 17%, and the existing 3% reservation for scheduled tribes has increased to 7%. After this decision of the government, the reservation limit in Karnataka exceeded 56%. Significantly, the ordinance was brought as per the report of Justice Nagmohan Das committee. According to the government, the ordinance aims to make provisions for the reservation of seats in educational institutions of Karnataka and appointments in the state services for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Notably, Article 16 of the Constitution of India mentions equality of opportunity in the matter of public employment. According to Article 16, Clause 4, the state or the government may provide for the reservation in appointments or posts in favor of any class of citizens, but before doing so, the government has to ensure that the representation of the sections concerned is insufficient in its opinion, wherein Article 15 Clause 4 states that no provisions of this article shall prevent the state from making special provisions for the advancement of any socially and educationally backward classes of citizens. Hence, the government may make special provisions for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes under Article 15 Clause 4. Significantly, the Supreme Court in its decision given in 1992 had fixed the maximum limit of reservation at 50%. The court had set this limit while giving the verdict in the Indira Sawhney case. However, the provision for the upper limit of reservation has not yet been made in any law. Recently, Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke of bringing a uniform policy on law and order in India. He stated that cases like cross-border terrorism and cybercrime go beyond regional and international boundaries. Therefore, all states should have a common law and order policy. He made these statements while speaking in a Chintan Shivir. In addition, he also stated that efforts are being made to introduce new IPC and CRPC in India. The new IPC-CRPC will be presented in Parliament soon. Notably, police and public order are state subjects. Therefore, the responsibility of preventing, detecting, registering, and investigating crime rests with the state governments. The responsibility of prosecuting criminals also lie with the state governments. Under the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India, there has been a division of powers between the centre and the states. The 7th schedule is mentioned in Article 246. 3 lists, that is, Union, State, and concurrent lists have been mentioned in the schedule. The state list includes those subjects on which only the concerned state legislature can make laws, and both the centre and the states can make laws on the subjects included in the concurrent list. Significantly, IPC, that is, Indian Penal Code, was first introduced in 1860. Since then, it has been amended from time to time. IPC was introduced as per the recommendations of the First Law Commission. IPC was prepared by Lord Macaulay. IPC is a comprehensive law in which provision has been made for the definition of offences, punishments, and fines. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Mangarh Dham in Rajasthan. During his visit, he paid tribute to the freedom fighter Govind Guru. On this occasion, the Prime Minister highlighted the sacrifice made by Govind Guru while acknowledging the sacrifice made by tribals. He referred to the 1913 incident of Mangarh. He also expressed his desire to develop Mangarh Dham as a global tourist destination. He also urged the government of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra to work together to develop Mangarh Dham as a global tourist destination. Significantly, Mangarh Dham is located in the Banswara district of Rajasthan. It is built on a hill. One part of the hill is located in Gujarat and the other part is located in Rajasthan. During British rule, the tribal leader Govind Guru was leading a movement for independence against British rule. In 1913, the British government surrounded him along his tribal companions at Mangarh. Thereafter, the British massacred these tribals. Mangarh Dham is built in the memory of these tribals. It is also known as a major pilgrimage site for the tribals. Govind Guru was a social and religious reformer of India. He was born on 20th December 1858 in Basya village, Dungarpur, Rajasthan. He belonged to a Banjara family. He is also known as Govind Giri. He had launched the Bhagat Andolan in the tribal-dominated border area of present-day Rajasthan and Gujarat. The Samp Sabha was established by Govind Guru in 1893 to organize the Bhil tribe. He also intended to awaken social and political consciousness among the Bhils. Samp Sabha promoted shunning alcohol, worshipping God and performing havan, and opening schools in villages. Govind Giri became popular in Bhil areas like Banswara and Dungarpur due to the social reform works carried among the Bhils. Later, Govind Guru founded the Bhagat Panth in 1911 along with inciting religious awakening among the Bhils. He also started preparing them against the exploitation of feudal lords and vassals. In this sequence, Govind Guru urged the British government to reduce the tax being charged on agriculture from the famine-stricken tribals. But the government did not pay heed to his request and surrounded the people protesting on the hill and massacred them. About 1,500 people died in this massacre. It is known as the Mangarh Massacre of 1913. Govind Giri died in October 1931 in Kamboi village of Panchamahal district of Gujarat. Recently, a report has been published in the journal Atmospheric Chemistry and Physics. This report is based on aerosol concentration. The report claims that there is a wide gap between the atmospheric aerosol concentration data measured by ground observation and climate models. It can have a direct impact on policy making. Both models revealed a decrease in the aerosol concentration. However, climate models underestimate the reduction in aerosol concentrations compared to ground observations. The report mentions that climate models need to collect accurate data regarding aerosol concentration so that they can predict the heat or cooling effect in a better manner. This move will also make it easier to predict future climate change. According to the report, aerosol concentrations were generally higher in urban locations in southern and central Europe than in rural areas in northern Europe. In addition, differences were also observed in the size of the aerosol particles. Notably, aerosols play a pivotal role in the cloud formation process. The increased aerosol particles reduce the number of cloud droplets, resulting in the reduction in rainfall. Actually, aerosols are microscopic solid particles or liquid droplets of air or any other gaseous colloid. The aerosol present in the air is called atmospheric aerosol. Haze, dust, atmospheric particulate matter, and smoke are examples of aerosols. Aerosols can be natural or artificial. Volcanoes, sea salt, and forest fires are natural sources of aerosols. In addition, the combustion of fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas by humans releases aerosols into the atmosphere. The aerosols not only damage the lung tissue but also lead to several lung diseases. Aerosols can absorb or reflect solar energy from the earth and affect the climate. Recently, United Nations Environment Programme has released Emissions Gap Report 2022. The report is titled The Closing Window: Climate Crisis Calls for Rapid Transformation of Societies. It is the 13th edition of the report published by UNEP. It focuses on the important steps to be taken and the need for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The report assesses the gap between the commitments and targets achieved by different countries to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Significantly, all countries have to keep global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by this century. Whereas, according to the report, the global temperature is expected to increase by 2.8 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Worldwide emissions would have to be cut by about 45% to maintain prescribed temperature. According to the report, the top 6 countries and the EU contributed about 55% of global emissions during 2020, apart from European Union, China, India, Indonesia, Brazil, the Russian Federation, and the United States of America are the highest emitters of greenhouse gas. The greenhouse gas emissions in 2021 were much higher than in 2019, and G20 member countries were responsible for 75% of global emissions. According to the report, the average global greenhouse gas emissions per capita in 2020 were equal to 6.3 ton of CO2, while greenhouse gas emissions per capita in 2020 in India were less than 2.4 tons of CO2. The report also drew attention to methane and carbon dioxide emissions by food and livestock. The report mentions that food systems are a major contributor to climate change and other environmental problems. These activities include changes in land use patterns, loss of biodiversity, methane gas emissions by agriculture and animal ruminants. The report suggests that the world will have to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases in the next 8 years. Therefore, immediate improvement is required to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases. In addition, there is a need for adopting alternative technologies in heavy industry to arrest the increase in the carbon emission intensity of global steel production. Recently, Competition Commission of India once again imposed a penalty on the tech company Google. The commission has once again found Google guilty of taking undue advantage of its market dominance. It is accused of unfairly promoting its payment app and in-app payment system. Hence, Google has been fined once again for unfair trade practices. In addition, the Commission has also suggested 8 remedial measures, including providing access to a third-party billing payment processing system on Google Play Store. Google has been given 30 days to implement these measures and change its attitude. It is worth noting that earlier, the CCI had imposed a fine of 1,337.76 crore rupees on Google in another case of anti-competitive practice. According to the Commission, it is mandatory for app developers on the Google Play Store to rely on the billing system of the Play Store. By doing so, Google has forced developers to use the in-app payment system. This act of Google is like imposing unfair conditions on developers, which violates the competition law. Because of this condition, Google is blocking access to competing mobile wallets and other apps that provide payment through UPI. It is worth noting that Google is already facing worldwide criticism on the same issue. However, Google is now allowing alternative payment system as well in many countries. Notably, the Competition Act was introduced in 2002. It aims to promote healthy competition in India. Keeping in view the economic development of India, it prevents such behavior which adversely affects the competition in the market. In this manner, it deals with the promotion and maintenance of competition in the market. In addition, it safeguards the interest of consumers and ensures freedom of trade. The Competition Commission of India was established in 2003 under the Competition Act 2002. Significantly, the Competition Act of 2002 replaced the Monopoly and Restrictive Trade Practices Act of 1969. Recently, a research has been published by the New England Journal of Medicine. The research is related to the use of monoclonal antibodies in the treatment of malaria. It mentions that after vaccination, people should be given a large dose of lab-made antibodies to develop antibodies, as the body takes some time to develop antibodies against the disease after vaccination. It claimed that the current vaccine is not capable of protecting people much. Under monoclonal antibody treatment, antibodies made in the laboratory are used and given to people with the help of injections. Scientists have used the technique in many African countries. It has been concluded from the experiments that once a lab-made antibody is given to a person, it remains effective for 6 months. And its success rate was also found to be good. Hence, it can prove to be very helpful in the treatment of malaria in severely affected countries like Africa. Notably, about 6 lakh people died due to malaria in 2020. The number of people getting infected from malaria in 2020 was much higher. The highest number of malaria cases in the world was recorded in Africa. Significantly, the WHO approved the malaria vaccine in 2021. The brand name of the vaccine is Mosquirix. This vaccine can be given to humans of any age above 5 months. A total of 4 doses are given. The trial of this vaccine was done in the African country, Burkina Faso, in 2019. Recently, a research has been published in the journal Science Advances. The research analyzes the increasing incidence of heat waves due to global warming and its effect on the economy. The report mentions that the global economy has been hit by trillions of dollars due to global warming and the heat waves since the early 1990s. Notably, small and poor countries were the worst affected due to global warming and heat wave. On the contrary, these countries have emitted the least carbon. In the research, some researchers collected data from the places with the average temperature of the hottest 5 days of the year around the world. Later, they carried out an extensive analysis of the collected data. After analysis, it was found that from 1992 to 2013, heat waves extensively affected economic development. Due to this, human health, productivity, agricultural production, and other sectors have suffered a loss of about $16 trillion. In dealing with such situations, rich countries have suffered a loss of about 1.5% of their per capita income, while poor countries have suffered a loss of about 6.7% of their per capita income. Researchers hold that in view of this situation, there is an urgent need for technological advancement and global legislation to protect people from these severe climate impacts, and the most attention needs have to be paid to those countries which are economically weak and have been affected the most by heat waves. The report suggests the best way to deal with this situation is to reduce carbon emission. In addition, countries need to spend more on mitigation measures, with people adapting themselves to such a situation. Recently, WHO released the Global TB Report 2022. This report discusses the diagnosis and treatment of TB worldwide and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on TB. According to the report, more than 21 lakh cases of TB were registered in India in 2021 under the National TB Eradication Program, which is 18% more than in 2020. The report mentions that 210 cases of TB have been recorded in India per 1 lakh population in 2021 compared to 256 cases in 2015. It implies that there has been a decline of 18% in 2021 as compared to 2015. Significantly, the global average of TB cases is 11%. At present, India is in the 36th position in the world in terms of the rate of TB cases. The WHO states that the TB programs in many countries around the world were affected during the COVID-19 pandemic, but even in such dire circumstances, India has been able to overcome these disruptions due to the implementation of better measures. However, in 2021, more than 21 lakh cases were notified under the National TB Eradication Program, while more than 22 crore people were screened for TB during this period. Notably, World Health Organization has set a target of eradicating TB globally by 2030, while India has set a target to eliminate TB from the country by 2025. To achieve this goal, the Government of India has started the Pradhan Mantri TB Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. In addition, the Nikshay Mitra initiative was also started to provide additional support to the patients undergoing treatment for TB. Presently, more than 40,000 Nikshay Mitras are helping more than 10.45 lakh TB patients across India. Recently, the Government of India launched the Heal in India program. It aims to promote medical tourism in India. This initiative has been started by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Through this initiative, efforts will be made to establish India as a major country in the medical field. Under this initiative, a digital portal called Medical Value Travel will also be established. This portal will be like an integrated window of Indian healthcare for international patients. Through this portal, assistance will be provided to international patients during their entire medical treatment period in India. The portal will also showcase the capability of Indian health facilities and Indian professionals. Basically, Heal in India is a multi-stakeholder project. Central and state governments are involved in the project. It aims to provide quality healthcare facilities in the field of traditional and modern medicine. The initiative is based on the Indian philosophy of Seva and Atiti Deva Bhava. Notably, when a person travels outside his country for medical treatment in another country, then it is termed as medical tourism. Earlier, people from developing countries used to visit developed countries for medical treatment, but this trend has changed in the last few years. Now, citizens of developed countries have started traveling to developing countries like India for cheap and quality medical treatment. Significantly, about 2 million patients from all over the world visit India every year. It leads to an increase of $4 billion in India's annual foreign exchange. The central government aims to increase medical tourism to around $12 billion in the next 4 years. For this purpose, the government is taking several steps at various levels. Recently, the District Consumer Court of Mumbai directed Uber India to pay 20,000 rupees. Uber has to pay this amount to a female passenger as a fine. Actually, the woman passenger had made a serious allegation against Uber by filing a complaint in the Consumer Court. The passenger had stated in the complaint that she missed her flight due to Uber cab driver. As a result, she had to book another flight. The court found the woman passenger's claim to be true and found the company guilty. Therefore, the court directed Uber to pay 10,000 rupees to the woman as a mental harassment and 10,000 rupees as litigation expenses. However, in this case, Uber company argued that it is a cab aggregator and not the cab owner. It only establishes contact between the passenger and the cab driver. Even cab drivers are not employees of the company. The court rejected the company's argument and ruled in favor of the passenger. According to the Consumer Court, the app from which the woman had booked the cab belonged to Uber. Hence, Uber is responsible for this incident. Notably, the interests of consumers in India are protected under the Consumer Protection Act of 2019. This act was introduced in place of the old Consumer Protection Act of 1986. According to this act, a consumer is a person who buys goods and services and consumes them to satisfy his/her needs. Under this act, a consumer has the right to safety, right to information, right to choose and right to consumer awareness. Significantly, consumer courts in India are courts constituted for this special purpose, for protecting the interest of consumers. They have the right to hear consumer complaints. They also have the right to take appropriate decisions on these complaints. The main function of these courts is to ensure that seller is honest to the consumer so that the business runs smoothly and the consumers are also not exploited. Recently, the Ministry of Rural Development released the 6th Internal Common Review Mission report. It aims to monitor the performance of projects related to the development of rural areas. The report contains data for one union territory, namely Jammu and Kashmir, and 7 states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Nagaland, Gujarat, Jharkhand, and Himachal Pradesh. The report mainly focuses on the major schemes of the rural sector, Manrega, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. The report recommends decentralization of Manrega to make it easier to implement at the grassroots levels. Furthermore, there is a need to diversify the permissible works included under Manrega. However, many institutions and scholars have drawn attention to this problem. The report claims that by diversifying jobs, workers will have the option of getting work and it will be easier for people to find work. Besides, the level of performance of the project will also improve. The report also drew attention to the delay in funding by the government. To overcome this shortcoming, the report recommends the creation of revolving fund. It is an additional fund that is used in case of delay in fund arrival so that projects can be completed on time. Basically, revolving fund funds an organization in any financial year. The report also discusses the Manrega wage rate of the states. According to the report, Manrega wages are much below the market rate in many states. Consequently, the program failed to provide an income guarantee to the people. For instance, the normal minimum wage rate for an agricultural laborer in Gujarat is around Rs 324 per day, while the Manrega wage rate is Rs 229 per day. Similarly, the Manrega wage rate is Rs 212 in Nagaland and Rs 214 in Jammu and Kashmir per day. The report recommends raising Manrega wages from Rs 600 to 700 per day. Let us now look at the 5 questions based on the bulletin.
Questions for this series are: first question is, consider the following statements. 1. Article 16(4) empowers the state to make provisions for the reservation of appointments or posts in favor of any class of citizens. 2. Under Article 15, the state can make special provisions for the upliftment of any socially and educationally backward class of citizens. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, or neither 1 nor 2. Next question is, consider the following statements with reference to the Competition Act 2002. 1. It aims to encourage healthy competition. 2. It has replaced the Monopolies and Restrictive Trade Practices Act 1969. 3. It allows all forms of market practices to encourage healthy competition. 4. Competition Commission of India was established under this act. Which of the above statements are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, or 1, 2 and 4 only. Consider the following statements with reference to the Heal in India program which was in news recently. 1. It has been launched to encourage medical tourism in India. 2. Under this program, a digital portal named Medical Value Travel has been launched. 3. It is a multi-stakeholder project. Which of the above statement or statements is or are incorrect? 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, or none of the above. Next question is, consider the following statements. 1. Mangarh Dham is located in the Banswara district of Rajasthan. 2. In Mangarh, the tribal leader Govind Guru launched a movement for independence against the British government. 3. Govind Giri was born in Dungarpur, Gujarat. Which of the above statement or statements is or are correct? 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, or all of the above. Last question is, consider the following statements with reference to the recently released Emissions Gap Report 2022. 1. It is the 13th edition of the report published by UNEP. 2. It assesses the gap between the commitments and the targets achieved to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. 3. As per the report, the top 6 countries and the European Union contributed about 75% of global emissions during 2020. Which of the above statements are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, all of the above, or none of the above. Recently, the Indian Navy participated in the first trilateral exercise with Mozambique and Tanzania. This exercise is named IMT Trilat. It aims to share training and best practices. It also includes capacity building to strengthen maritime cooperation and address common threats. Guided missile frigate INS Tarkash, Chetak helicopter and Marcos of the Indian Navy participated in the exercise. Recently, the Prime Minister laid the foundation stone of the C-295 transport aircraft manufacturing plant in Vadodara, Gujarat. The plant will manufacture C-295 aircraft for the Indian Air Force through a collaboration between Tata Advanced Systems Limited and Airbus Defence and Space SA Spain. The multi-role C-295 aircraft can fly in all weather conditions during day as well as night. The C-295 aircraft is also equipped with the facility of quick response and landing of soldiers. Recently, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has been appointed as the new president of Brazil. He was elected the president of Brazil after defeating the incumbent president Jair Bolsonaro. Lula had already served as president of Brazil twice. Significantly, 77-year-old Lula follows the left-wing ideology, while Bolsonaro follows the right-wing ideology. 3 years ago, Lula had served his sentence in a corruption case. The 67th Kannada Rajyotsav was organized recently. On this occasion, the state government conferred Rajyotsav awards to prominent writers, sports persons, social workers, etc. from different fields. 67 persons including ISRO Chief K. Sivan, Senior Literature A.R.A. Mitra, Professor Krishna Goda, Para-Olympic player Raghavendra Anvekar were conferred with Rajyotsava awards. Kannada Rajyotsava is celebrated every year on 1st November. The state of Karnataka was formed on this day. Hence, 1st November is also celebrated as Karnataka Foundation Day. Recently, the Union Cabinet chaired by the Prime Minister has approved the new name of Greenfield Airport located at Holongi, Itanagar. This approval has been given on the proposal of the Arunachal Pradesh government, which was earlier passed by the state government. Now, Greenfield Airport will be known as Doni Polo Airport. It is worth noting that the new name reflects the reverence for Doni, that is sun, and Polo, that is moon, which are symbols of the traditions and rich cultural heritage of the people of Arunachal Pradesh. Recently, DRDO successfully test-fired the second stage of the Ballistic Missile Defense Interceptor AD-1 missile. The test was conducted with a large-scale altitude bracket from APJ Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of Odisha. Notably, AD-1 is a long-range interceptor missile. It is designed for both low exo-atmospheric and endo-atmospheric interception of long-range ballistic missiles as well as airplanes. The Union Cabinet has given its approval to the MOU between India and Denmark. The MOU has been signed for cooperation in the field of water resources development and management. The MOU covers digitization and ease of access to information, integrated and smart water resource development and management, aquifer mapping, groundwater modeling, monitoring and recharge, etc. Recently, the Performance Grading Index for 2020-21 has been released. It has been released by the Department of School Education and Literacy, Ministry of Education. A total of 7 states and union territories, namely Kerala, Punjab, Chandigarh, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh, have secured Level 2. Notably, no state or union territory was included in Level 2 in 2017-18. Gujarat, Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh are the new states to achieve the highest level achieved by any state so far. It is worth mentioning that the Performance Grading Index is a unique index that provides an evidence-based, comprehensive analysis of the school education system in the state and union territories. Through this index, an attempt is made to tell where there is a need to improve the education system and level of the states. India's first floating financial literacy camp was organized recently. It was organized by India Post Payments Bank in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. The Investor Didi initiative has been started during this camp. Investor Didi initiative aims to promote financial literacy with the concept of for women by women. It has been started by India Post Payments Bank on the instructions of the Government of India, keeping in mind rural India. Recently, social worker Ila Bhatt passed away. She was 89 years old. She played an important role in empowering women. She had helped countless women in achieving economic independence. She established SEVA, that is Self-Employed Women's Association, in 1972 after seeing the suffering of self-employed poor women. She has been honored with many awards. In 1977, she received the Ramon Magsaysay Award. Later, she was awarded the Right Livelihood Award in 1986. Further, she was also conferred with awards like Padma Bhushan by the Government of India. She was also a nominated member of the Rajya Sabha from 1986 to 1989.